Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. This is the Deep Dive, where we try to give you that shortcut to being really well informed. We sift through a whole lot of material articles, reports, you name it, and pull out the key insights just for you. And today, we're tackling a question that keeps popping up. Is now actually a good time to invest in Rekor systems? We're going to really dig into this one.
Yeah, we've gone through a pretty detailed analysis report specifically on Rekor, and our goal here really is to give you that balanced view, what's exciting about their potential, but also what are the real challenges they're facing.
Absolutely. And hey, if you find this deep dive valuable, please do subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. It really helps us out. And if you really like what we do, maybe consider buying us a coffee. There's a link for that. Keeps the lights on and these deep dives rolling. Okay, Rekor systems. Let's unpack this. What is it they actually do? Our sources say they're all about AI-powered roadway intelligence.
That's the core, yeah.
So innovative solutions for road safety, managing traffic, basically making roads smarter and safer using AI. It sounds, well, pretty futuristic.
It does, and they've definitely made a name for themselves in this specific niche. They're seen as being, quite proficient in this area, not just playing around, but actually delivering some cutting-edge stuff for managing modern roads.
Okay, cool tech is one thing. But investors, they need to look under the hood at the financials.
Always.
And with Rekor, well, it looks like a really mixed picture. The report shows some pretty impressive revenue growth, which is, usually a good sign.
It is. Strong top-line growth is definitely eye-catching for a company like this.
But there's always a but, isn't there? What's the other side of that coin?
Well, the big but here is the significant net losses. They're growing revenue, yes, but they're also losing quite a bit of money, and they carry a notable amount of debt.
Right. Debt and losses. So that points to some financial challenges, doesn't it?
Yeah. It certainly does. It underscores the challenge of scaling profitably. You see growth, but you also see, well, a significant cash burn.
Is that typical, though? For this kind of tech company, are these just growing pains or something more concerning?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Some early losses, yeah, that's often part of the game in emerging tech. They invest heavily in R&D market share.
Right.
The worry with Rekor maybe isn't just the losses, but how big they are compared to the revenue and that debt pile. It means they're funding growth with borrowed cash, basically, which always raises questions about, the long-term path to actually making money sustainably.
Okay. Now, the sources also talk about a strategic shift they're making, moving towards recurring revenue, like a subscription model, a SaaS model.
Exactly. And that's potentially huge. That kind of predictable recurring income could really stabilize things for them down the line, less lumpy than big one-off contracts.
Yeah, speaking of contracts, it seems their reliance on government deals is going down.
It is, which can be a good thing. Less volatility, perhaps. Government contracts can be big but unpredictable.
Okay.
But the flip side is they need to replace that with steady commercial business, which is its own challenge, right? Building that commercial customer base consistently.
Right, finding stable revenue streams elsewhere. Okay, so let's talk valuation. How do you value a company like this? The analysis we looked at didn't really give us the usual metrics, PE, PS, PB.
Yeah, and that's telling. When you don't see those standard ratios, it often means the company isn't profitable yet, or the metrics are just, well, not meaningful because of the losses or unusual structure.
So it's more of a story stock at this point.
Yeah.
Betting on the future.
Precisely. You're investing in the potential, the narrative, the technology's promise, rather than current earnings or book value. And that inherently makes it riskier. You're relying more on forecasts and, well, faith in the strategy.
And it also means comparing it to industry averages is tough if those base metrics aren't there or aren't provided, which our source material didn't detail.
Exactly. Context is harder to get without those benchmarks.
Okay, so fundamentals are mixed. Valuation is tricky. What about the stock itself, the technical side? The sources make it pretty clear. This thing is volatile.
Oh, yeah. Definitely a wild ride. High volatility is a key feature here.
And high short interest, too. So lots of people betting against it.
That's right. A significant number of investors are shorting the stock, expecting the price to fall. That can add fuel to the fire, creating sharp swings both ways, squeezes, drops. It makes things very dynamic.
Even with strong buy ratings coming in from some analysts.
Yep. That's the push and pull. You have believers and skeptics clashing, essentially. The recent price was hovering around, what, $1.23?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And the forecasts, they are all over the map. Seriously. Some analyses see it going to maybe $3.25. Others are way up at like $9.12 within the next year.
Wow, that's a massive range. $3.25 to over $9.
It tells you a lot about the uncertainty, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Huge potential upside if things go right, but clearly a lot of question marks.
And the Fear and Greed Index? Our sources mentioned it was at 39. That's in the fear zone.
Right. Which, for contrarian investors, sometimes signals a buying opportunity. You know, be greedy when others are fearful. But it reflects genuine market anxiety, too.
It's a gamble on sentiment shifting.
It is. And it's worth noting, the specific technical indicators like RSI or MACD, those weren't detailed in the analysis we had, so we can't comment on those specific signals.
Got it. Okay, what about recent news? Anything shaking things up? Leadership changes, strategy shifts? Those often impact how investors feel, right?
Absolutely. Any change at the top or tweak in direction gets scrutinized. The market's always trying to figure out, is this good or bad long term?
But countering that, you mentioned strong institutional and insider ownership.
Yeah, that's usually seen as a positive sign. When the big funds and the people running the company are holding on to significant stakes or even buying more, it suggests they have conviction. They believe in the future.
So, putting it all together, the market sentiment just seems really mixed, optimism clashing with caution. That high short interest really highlights the division.
Definitely not a consensus stock. It's polarizing.
Okay. Looking ahead, what could actually move the needle for the stock price? What are the potential catalysts?
Well, the usual suspects for any company like this, future earnings reports, obviously, any big product innovations or successful rollouts, maybe major new contract wins, especially on the commercial side now.
And regulatory stuff
Yeah.
in this roadway intelligence space.
Oh, for sure. Changes in government regulations or funding initiatives related to smart cities or road safety could be huge catalysts or hurdles, depending on what they are.
Okay, catalysts are the potential upside. Let's flip back to the risks. We touched on them, but let's lay them out clearly. What are the big red flags potential investors need to watch? Stock-specific stuff first.
Well, number one is definitely the financial health we discussed. That's significant debt, the ongoing net losses. That's a major risk factor.
Right.
And then there's the volatility we talked about, amplified by that high short interest. It means the price can swing wildly, which isn't for everyone. Need a strong stomach.
Okay, and beyond Rekor itself, sector risks.
Yeah, so even though it's decreasing, that reliance on government contracts still exists to some degree, bringing uncertainty. And crucially, this is tech. Competitors are always innovating. Someone else could come up with better, faster, cheaper AI for roads, challenging Rekor's position.
Constant pressure to stay ahead. Makes sense.
And then you've got the macro picture.
Like a recession.
Exactly. Economic downturns could hit demand. If cities or states cut budgets, these kinds of infrastructure intelligence projects might get delayed or cut. That's always a background risk.
Okay, so pulling all this analysis together,
Mm-hmm.
what's the recommendation? What's the bottom line here?
Based on everything, we'd rate Rekor Systems a 6 out of 10. That's for both short-term and long-term perspectives.
A 6 out of 10. So moderately positive, but with caveats.
Exactly. There's undeniable growth potential here. The tech is innovative. The shift to recurring revenue is smart. But, and it's a big but, the financial risks and the volatility are significant. It's definitely not a sure bet.
And for entry price, any guidance from the analysis?
Yeah, given the current volatility and where it's been trading, the suggested entry range is somewhere around $1.10 to $1.20. That's for both shorter-term plays and longer-term holds, based on the recent patterns.
Okay. And who is this stock really for?
Honestly, it leans much more towards the long-term investor, someone who genuinely believes in the company's vision for transforming roadway intelligence, understands the tech potential, and crucially, can stomach the volatility. You need patience and risk tolerance here.
Not for the faint of heart, as you said.
Definitely not.
And what about short-term traders, if they're tempted by the volatility?
The strong advice there is extreme caution. If you are going to trade it short-term, you absolutely need strict risk management. That means tight stop losses, maybe 10% below your entry to cut losses quickly if it turns against you. And define take-profit targets. Maybe lock in gains if it jumps 20% or 30%. Don't get too greedy with a stock that's unpredictable. Discipline is key.
Got it. So to wrap up our deep dive, Rekor Systems. It's clearly an intriguing story, innovative tech, real growth potential.
Right.
But it comes with serious financial question marks, debt, losses, and that market volatility. It's a compelling vision, facing some immediate very real challenges.
And I think connecting it to the bigger picture, this whole case really hammers home how important it is to look beyond just the cool technology. You
Yeah,
have to dig into the financial health, the market position, the actual path to profitability. The shiny new tech isn't enough on its own.
absolutely. Which leads us to that final provocative thought for you, our listener, to chew on. Beyond just deciding buy or sell on Rekor,
Yeah.
how does this specific mix, the cutting-edge innovation versus the real financial struggles and the divided market sentiment, how does that reflect the wider world of emerging tech investing right now?
And maybe more personally, what does exploring a company like Rekor tell you about your own comfort level with risk, especially when you're looking at the very forefront of technological change? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time on Investing Talk Podcast.